Well, everyone, I just got done talking about the iPhone X and pretty much explaining why I wish I had bought that iPhone sooner. But right now, I will tell you with the iPhone X, I actually went ahead and bought it twice back in 2018 for my own usage. Nowadays, I go ahead and buy iPhones and I buy 2 or 3 of them so I can compare them on previous iOS versions. But back in 2018, I didn't have like crazy amounts of money I can just go spend on phones, and it didn't even make financial sense based on the channel. But the iPhone X was such a beautiful phone that I had a choice. Either I keep an iPhone X, when the iPhone XS came out, I upgrade to an iPhone XS, or I buy another iPhone X with more storage. And honestly, I ended up buying an iPhone X with twice, actually, I think 256 gigabytes at that time, and that was probably the best decision I made at that moment. I was going to buy the base model iPhone XS, which I believe had 64 gigabytes at that time, and that was a great phone and everything, but I actually ended up buying an iPhone X with 256 gigabytes of storage, I believe for about a couple $100 cheaper than a brand new iPhone XS. And for the fact that this was a higher end iPhone X, and the fact that I was able to get it for much cheaper than an iPhone XS, made that a much better value and a much better deal in my opinion. And I ended up keeping that phone for I think about a year after. I think when the iPhone 11 Pros came out, that's when I officially switched over to the iPhone 11 Pro. And like I said, when I look at that device in 2022, I still think it's a very solid device that holds up very well, but I never thought to myself that I would ever complain about the storage of a phone because I don't really take too many photos on my device. I don't really do anything crazy. Really, I just go ahead and just make thumbnails on my phone sometimes and then publish those thumbnails and that's it. But with the iPhone X, the fact that that specific iPhone was so great at that moment, it was so ahead of its time that realistically, between an iPhone X and a XS, even for me at that time, it wasn't that big of a difference and it wasn't that big of an upgrade in my opinion. I was able to snag an iPhone X for much cheaper than a XS with a way more storage than a XS for the base model. And I was able to have that for another year on top of it. And I felt like I was missing out on nothing. Personally, I feel like the XS was a good phone, but the X was just so ahead of its time that even now in 2022, Apple just has to make so many software limitations on this device to even make it feel like it's an older phone. Things like missing out on so many features within iOS 16, things like some hardware things like this phone not getting, the Face ID replication thing or whatever repair thing at first. Those types of things, when I look at the iPhone X, it just makes me think that even Apple knows they just did such a futuristic phone that it's not even funny. But when I look at the iPhone 13s and I look at all the leaks of the iPhone 14s, it's really not that crazy big of a difference, to be honest. I still feel like the iPhone 13 is a really good phone, and it's not going to be like crazy worse than the iPhone 14, but I never really feel like with my iPhone 13 Pro, I would want to buy another iPhone 13 Pro with more storage. I don't really feel like that with the iPhone 12 Pro, the 11 Pro. I just feel like with the iPhone X, there was something about it that was just so ahead of the time at that moment that a higher end iPhone X, that iPhone was just so good for that time that I actually ended up buying it twice, and which is so funny. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you ever bought an iPhone twice before, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.